Welcome back to EU5, episode number 20. Last time around, we became more stable. Quite literally, we picked up a lot of stability. We're back to a 59. So stability's back, though the disaster is not yet averted. We need to get back to a 90% Catholicism level, which we are not there right now. But in the short term, we have been reestablishing a good, strong economy. We've also started picking up our overseas, I suppose you could say, Brazil colony, while the others are self-managing. We've also been continuing on with exploration. Death of another cabinet member. That's been happening a lot lately. 90 ducats to replace them, and we need military. Yakpo. No, cancel. He's 70. Even though he's got a much better rating. We got a 70, 74, 71. That's pretty balanced. Yeah, we'll use Real. We have a spy network on Novgorod, which is at a 56 already. So let's go ahead and steal some maps. But now that we're taking it off Novgorod, we're much more likely to be grabbing maps off the northern terrain. I think we'll start here with Norland. And there we go. Florida is discovered. Here's the big test. Is Florida still open? It's wide open. I think we might need to start a colony in Florida next. I think that, in fact, I only have 2 active colonies right now. Maybe we're going to start right away. I mean, we already have... Oh, we don't have the rights to Cuba anymore. Cuba is wide open. Maybe we start with Cuba and then go to Florida. I want that foothold. Maybe we do Florida first and then add in Cuba. That's an easy one too. Very lightly populated. We're gonna pick somewhere we haven't used in a while on this one. Let's take the Bajo Alentejo. Research, I think we're heading down a line right now. The Carrick came as you're heading down that line. And let's go ahead and continue our exploration here of the North American, or specifically the Atlantic coastline. And there you go. La Planta is also done. That is a huge sea zone. I don't know how that didn't get split into 2 or even 3, but there you go. We've made our way around the coastline there and suddenly need to begin the next exploration as well. And we're going to go ahead and explore here as well. I'm noticing I can't do any inland stuff. I think the reason why is I did not yet, tech-wise, unlock conquistadors. So basically you have your sea version of explorers, you have your land version of explorers. We've done the research regarding the sea one. We have not done the research regarding land, which is why these territories continue to be unsearchable unless they are connected to coastline. Oh, happy nobility and ducats? Wow, okay, sweet. So we have 3 charters. We now have 2 active searches going on, meaning we can get back to spending some money. I could always get myself back to 4 territories here. Gonna get right back to where we were when it came. It was working well for us, really. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna do that. Let's get Brazil and whatever our next adjacent. Ooh, going this way. Interesting. Let's start with the cost, and all that East Coast stuff is so much cheaper. So much cheaper. Okay. The cheapest one for Brazil is the stuff way down here, which we don't have control levels. I think we need to focus more in the middle. We need this one to connect. Yeah, we'll take that one. That's a pretty big area. Let's go to Extremadura. Foreign cultural law has unlocked. We also just finished one of our colonies down here in this region, so let's keep it going and get the next one on the go. We're going to use Granada this time, and we're going to expand a little bit further south. taking up that coastline. Now that there is no treaty, coastline's important. We also have a couple new markets that we are being introduced to, and in this case, that is like the far north, the extreme north. In the other case, I think it's a Central American market that has been developed. For the foreign cultural law, the first one, allowing foreign rituals, decreases the cost to add cultures to our accepted cultures list. Now, that's not the route I want to take, so that option's out immediately, leaving us with the other two. The blood tax, increasing tax rate by 5% on the commoners, can be a lot of extra ducats. The add accepted culture costs going up, I just mentioned I don't want to do that, so that's not a problem, even though there is an offset negative there. The non-culture levy size increased by 25% means actually we're bringing in more people to the army in the short term. That's pretty dang useful. The other option of integrating foreign traditions, cultural influence, and pop assimilation speed are both good because as we go through this process, as we continue on with this playthrough, I do want to absorb them in to avoid rebellions and whatnot and have unity amongst our pops. But I think you can assimilate without that. It's not necessary. It just makes it happen faster. The one that has a kind of a big knock-on effect is going to be the blood tax. So it's terrible, but I'm going to do it. Mierum, next colony is done, keeping that as part of Portugal, as that is all in this zone. Here is my next colonial venture. 10k pops almost, so it's going to take a little bit longer. 7 areas. But I need to get these and get this all connected up soon. The Brigida area might be a good one just to have a connection along here, but yeah. Alto Alentejo this time, so taking a couple of the rural provinces as we've been pulling from the big ones quite a few times here recently. Now we've already established now ourselves here in Florida, and we can go steal a map again. We're making rapid progress with this, by the way. It's 1.19. It's the highest we've had. I think we added something recently that improved our speed for building spy networks, and it's showing at the moment. We're gonna get the rest of this region here, that coastline. We had a good amount of it already, but I got the rest of it. Trade range used overseas, research complete, and that was our queue for now, so we can get back into it and decide what we want to do next. I'm going to take the rights of the nobility one. It's an age 2. We might actually be able to knock down the nobility the way we just did on that last law. There's our conquistadors. We'll go ahead and queue it up. A cavalry upgrade with lancers. An upgraded cannon before we've even gotten into having any cannons yet. It would be like the 3rd iteration of cannons, and I think we need to do what we need to do to actually add that into our army here soon. Exodus of Braga. Lutheran pops ready to leave. This will help get us to that 90% a little bit sooner so this disaster can end. There are still little things that keep triggering that we're not a big fan of, and the clergy's happy, so we are close. We just need to get that religious unity one. I'm going to start taking a look at a lot of those kind of side buildings, the ones that don't just have the direct economic boost, but have something else to strengthen us, beginning here with a royal garden, monthly prestige, and diplomat bonus. It has a knock-on effect. More prestige is good for us, so it's a one-time thing that goes in the capital. Only cost me like 130 ducats. It's not that bad. It's also about time we add in yet another university. We've seen just how powerful it is to have it. The difference it makes for your literacy rate. With there we go. Cannon Maker, Lisboa, 1.84 ducats. That's gonna be our first. And here comes our rights of the nobility option. I only have 104 ducats at the moment. That might be... Yeah, we need to get to 188. I also have 1 month until an exploration is done, so we've got a couple things to spend some money on here. And there you go. Georgia is discovered and not yet colonized. So moving on to South Carolina. Well, this Noble's Law is exactly what I expected. 3 of them, empower them, make them stronger. Power plus 10, power plus 5, power plus 10. But 1 curtails their power, knocks it down by 10, makes them less happy, so there's more we got to deal with. Maximum tax rate goes up a lot. That is probably a trade-off we can't really afford, because we're going to make them less happy. You tax them more, it makes them even less happy. But you take power away from them, it becomes easier anyway, to start revoking their privileges down the road, changing those laws, and not having it cost 160 stability to do so. For now, it would knock it down to something, I don't know, like 140, but it gets you going in that direction and move towards centralization. 187 ducats to make that happen. Goodbye, power of the nobility. He didn't die, but we just lost a cabinet member. We're going to have to wait a month for the ducats to be able to hire somebody new. Hello, colony. I believe this is our Florida colony, which I do want to not leave that as Portugal, but yeah, there we go. Timucua. Okay, so we are going to form a new colonial subject for this one. And then we will immediately begin colonizing something adjacent to that. We can go either direction. In fact, at some point here, we'll go both directions. I think for now, I want to fill out the peninsula so that we have kind of a protected back door, and all you have to do is protect your front unless there's a naval advantage for a nation, and then expand inland. So as we look, see, here's your advantage immediately for... That is the next one? Yes, I see it now. Okay, next one to the south. It's also the cheapest. Here's your added bonus, though it's going to cost 200 ducats to start her up. All right, well, we are ready to meet with Parliament once again. Castle Works is the only one, and I hate that one, so we have to do something else. Naval infrastructure, maybe? Oh, that's a bunch of development. Yeah, we'll take the development. The shipbuilding speed, while being debated, isn't going to make much of a difference here. This one's going to take a little bit, though, as we are at just 31%. Increase opinion. Lovely. Tiny bit of antagonism. Okay. And we're at 57. That's probably going to do it. Nobility, looking for a big handout. 10%. They're actually above equilibrium right now. We'll have to take the... deny them aid. And we are being joined by someone. France. France has started colonizing. And that's a pretty big area too. This is all the impassable. There's, not much coastline along there. It's not going to hurt too much. Have them in there. But it does separate us from our own colonies above us. There's our conquistadors. Selling of indulgences. I thought this ended. Thought it was banned. Make the commoners unhappy. Lose some ducats. It would be 1 loan. Or make the commoners happy and lose some religious influence. That's fine. We don't need the religious influence. Let's go ahead and get our slot filled. Wow. Hello. We are down on cabinet. Potential cabinet members. Because the nobility just got outlawed from taking the rolls. There's another negative. Lose 5. We gained 5. We'll lose 5. That's fine. It's balanced now. So it's not a great 57%. Okay, past all that development. Ooh, University of Anajas, as in New World. So they want to add a university there. That could be really useful for that region. The clergy is going to be upset for a while, but we can recover from that. Probably the first university in the New World. Our spy was discovered in Novgorod and kicked out, but we've waited the necessary time, and waited the necessary time and sent them back in. I also sent one back into Georgia that had previously been discovered, so we can continue to open the map in those ways. I believe Guaiatica is going to be one of the Brazilian, is it part of Portugal? And another one finishes days later. Haha, hey. All here, so keep that part of Portugal. Research also done, Lancers. And we just freed up 2 colonies, so we can get more on the go. I'm going to get 1 in Portugal, so we're at 2 now. Or Brazil. 2 in Brazil. And then we'll go 2 in Florida. Possible institution. Whoa, both of them. Hello, hello. Global trade and artillery are spreading now. 26%, 21%. A boost is inbound. And we're only talking about like 35 stability. Like, that's not a major cost. It's not a major cost at all. So do I want to spend 400 ducats on 2 new colonies, or do I want to embrace an institution and speed up our research? Let's speed up our research. Global trade is going to have a quicker knock-on effect than artillery will. Global trade institution embraced. Goods have been moved across continents since antiquity, but where this was previously limited to a set number of routes and goods, such as the manufactured goods of India and China finding their way across the Indian Ocean along the Silk Road, all trade is now increasingly becoming part of a greater world network. With the discovery of the Americas, sea routes around Africa, and the crossing of the Pacific Ocean, local trade networks are being connected into one world-spanning, interconnected web. Silver mined in the Andes is now being boxed and taken via Europe all the way to China and India. Iron mined and wrought in Scandinavia is being sold in West Africa by English merchants, and others are making a fortune just distributing cloth and spices within the Southeast Asian trade sphere. Local Indian merchants are investing in future European trade ventures. It may still be early to speak of a truly global economy, but surely the first seeds have been sown. And the funny thing is, most of what's mentioned there is very much not happening yet. It's still very early days in terms of colonization and what's out there in presence. And I mean, we know more's going on that African coastline than what we see, but Castile, like, they're not ahead of us. They are behind us. They are. There's more than what we see from Castile, and obviously we've already noticed that England is making its way over here. Now we know that France is England and France seem to be just getting started. We've got a huge head start, and we seem to have pulled ahead of Papal States, though I wouldn't be surprised at all if Papal States are focused entirely on Africa and not the New World at all. We have 2 things left on our research queue, and then we'll be looking into global trade thereafter. Alright, next colony, San Francisco. We need the last 4 of this area. Oh, Sao Francisco. Let's go ahead and pull from Extremadura. And we will head back to the East Coast for the next one. I'm realizing only having a single town is problematic when a university is being built, but you don't have enough books. It's hard to get those books. I could build a scriptorium, but the only place I could build one is there, and it would be on the cube behind the university. I need a second town. One is not going to be enough. For the moment, we have 2 explorations about to finish, and 1 more colony to get started, which we just now have reached what we need. I think we can immediately start the next colony here. I think this is the next one down. Okay, second colony done. Research finishes. Trade range over owned land. Cuts down, that's good. 36 ducats for a little extra progress on our search of Brazil, and actually it was enough to finish it too. So suddenly we have more things to do than we have finances. Oh, they're both done. South Carolina done as well, so there's that. Suddenly we can discover. Well, with all discoveries finished for the moment, we've got plenty of land to colonize. I think what I need to do is get going in this direction. Having a little issue with food in the Granada region. Actually, we've been having it for quite a while too. We're gonna build another Jesuit college. Get rid of those Lutheran preachers. Yep. So localized food. There's wheat, there's fish. So we're gonna cash in on those two. And hope that a good amount of that stays local. Okay, our next Brazilian colony is done. Suddenly I'm down to 2, so we definitely need to spend money in the short term to get back up to 4 colonies. It's hard to maintain that. There's so much upfront cost with each of those. We're handling the monthly cost just fine. Suddenly I have 66 ducats a month that we're making, which is great. That's in part because we are preparing 2 explorations and neither one has started yet, so the cost isn't being charged. We do have diplomacy with Novgorod, steel maps. I think we got to continue pulling the land. Karelia area is right there. We have some of it. That gets us the rest of it. So we're down to one last land pocket up there. And then we'll try to get those. Ooh, that's a single sea pocket, so that'll be the one after. Okay, next, as we try to link these guys up, we've got the Sao Francisco going, Paraiba. There's one more to link that up. The Brigida, I think those can all kind of wait. They're inland. I think you got to continue down the coastline and up here as well. So Minho. And then once we have the ducats, back over here. Positive event, we can get 20% satisfaction for the clergy. They're already at their threshold, or gain stability. The stability is definitely a nice one right now because we do have another institution we can embrace, but I didn't want to spend 30 something stability when we had just spent 30 stability. So getting that little bonus, we're back to 67. We'd still be maybe 40, as we've probably gotten a few more provinces. So it's going to be more about the cost now, which that has been a little bit of hurry up and wait. We've had so many things to invest in recently. Research, the Falconet, that also finished my queue, so we will be able to get into our new age here in just a second. Okeechobee, where are you at? Ah, there we go. Now we can see it. Get close enough. Zoom in further. Okay, so Patano is the next one. That's going to at least get us all the way across the peninsula. Estremadura fine for this one. So we enter the 4th age now. And global trade. Trade maintenance right there is a great one right off the bat. New tools workshop. An upgraded tools building. Using iron to make tools. A good amount. A little bit more expensive. What do we got? Beer workshop. This is all the tier 2 stuff. Or higher tier anyway. Iron output is probably a good one. That's lead and iron, and ooh, that opens up a whole can of worms. What do we got going the other way? Maritime trade advantage, yes. Maritime presence, yes. Proximity cost through open sea. Yeah, let's get into those. Exploration progress. Yeah, we'll keep going right down that tree. Trade companies. Chartered companies. Colonial range bonus. Exploration is a casus belli. Create colonial charter cost. Use that one up right away. Trade maintenance. Trade range. Diplo range. Yeah, we are going right to the bottom of this. Trade companies too. The customs house. Just get that entire sequence down there. And we're going to queue up this whole other couple trees too. Suddenly I have 23 things queued up. In a higher age, it's more expensive too. It's going to take a very long time to get through that queue. There's a lot of good stuff that we just got into with global trade. Georgia, map steel. I think we had started working on African coastline. Oh, I'm not certain. There's not more we can get from there. So Western Khorasan is our next area right there. Since I'm over here, let's go ahead and take a look at our institutions and see, has it made it out of here just yet? Printing press still only at 29%, 29%, down to Sind, 6%. It's 23 here, 31. There we go, printing press, 71%. And they have the printing press all the way up to Baghdad. So it's reached Egypt. Printing press has reached Egypt, but it's not done spreading through Egypt. We need to make sure we still have trade with Egypt. And oh my goodness. Yeah, printing press. Printing press, 98.15. We have everything else already. So Lisboa, you can see the spread that's happening. The artillery one, 90%. 30%. The global trade's coming along quickly since we adopted it, or embraced it. The artillery one, yeah, there's a number around 90%, so it'll go pretty quick for those. But the introduction for the printing press, once Lisboa has it, it'll spread pretty quickly elsewhere, and it's going to have it in just a couple of months. At college, the university did finish being built. It looks like Granada has shifted to Faz again. Colonial enthusiasm for 10 years. Monthly colonial migration 20%. Whoa, big bonus. We'll be growing very quickly here for a little while. Okay. Food still has not kind of fixed itself up here. We're still... And another area, Ribatejo, is also... I think that was more of an event that triggered, though. Oh, our Explorer just died. Anyway, we've moved off the Sevilla market, mostly. Shipping standard, big stability loss, or 10 years. Oh, blockade efficiency. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. It's not a good one, obviously, but no, if we're going to be fighting any wars in the next 10 years, and if we are, probably not the most serious of wars. Finally, we are rolling in ducats just a little bit, enough so that we need to turn whatever our largest town is down here into or our largest population down here into a town. Well, Pop is definitely a little bit bigger here. Got 8,000 right there. That's probably a good one. No, we don't have those two yet. So this is our largest town location down here. We're going to turn it now. We do have 15% control, so there is control here, so it would be beneficial to found a town. 351 ducats. Castile has invaded Aragon. They're taking land off of them. If only I could get a Casus Belli on them, I would do the same. This might not be a bad time to try again, though. Let's go ahead and... We have our cannon maker, by the way. I'm wondering if it's time to expand our army just a little bit. Oh, we have some upgradable. Our men-at-arms can be halberdiers. Our handgunners can be arquebusiers. Our heavy cavalrymen can be lancers. That's 420 ducats, but yeah, let's do it. There's probably going to be more. As part of the upgrade, the new units have a higher manpower level, so we've automatically upgraded our units to create an army that's suddenly well over 6,000. Maintenance cost goes down 10%, and Jororo is done, ready to join our Florida colony. And so we need to go ahead and wait a tick and then get on to the next one. Okeechobee is the next one on the list, even though it's going to cross over into this way. You still have Tampa in between here, but after Patano you can get Tampa, and then Miami. Miami is the last one. This will be my second Granadan one here in this area. Granada is not still kind of a done deal. We still have some conversion to do. We have definitely not changed culture there. Two diplomats, or every neighbor country gains. Take the diplomats, that's fine. And it's time for Parliament. Farming estates. Slightly above 50%. Tiny bit of antagonism for an easy pass. I'll take it. Patano is done. So Tamukwa gains yet another colony, and we are also less than a month away from one of our explorations being done. But it looks like we're going to have to wait a minute on some ducats, as we've got to get Tampa on the go. Well, the next exploration down the African coastline is already ongoing, 9 months until it's complete. So we could either do coastline, which I don't care too much about the coastline, or we could go big and get some more of our open sea terrain. This is the more awkward one, I think. All right, it passed. Livestock farms in 2 provinces have increased their RGO size. The nobility's equilibrium is now 49%, so we need to knock it down a peg to get it above 50, and that was what I was talking about with those taxes. We took some power away from them, which gives more power to the crown, but the trade-off is the nobility will ultimately have to be taxed less. But somebody who doesn't need to be taxed less is the commerce, since we pushed things up, give them just below that 60% mark. We've got a big negative event here between an artist and the king, and we really have no choice on this one. Commoners are going to be pretty upset. That's a 20% knock. The other option was a non-starter, but what is a starter is Novgorod, and our steel maps option once again. We had our final land piece here. Should be Kola, right? Yeah. And there it is. Now we have all of the land. Aragon. All the sieging's done, but the war is not over. I think they're waiting for the war score to tick up a bit, as they appear to have no plans to invade the rest of the Aragonese lands. But I do have enough to make a Casus Belli, if there's a Casus Belli to make. That's the big question. Create Casus Belli, and no, still no options for us. There's no trade conflict. About the disrupting trade. Has privateers. Here's that fun trade-off event, 0.5 development for Granada, but we're going to lose 10 legitimacy, which was back to 99. Like, it was almost back to a 100 after our previous event knocked that down. 89's not bad, though. Our spy network in Georgia is ready for another steel maps. Let's go ahead and take Sistan. Far more likely to have interactions with anything here, as we're going to try to make our way around Africa, potentially anyway. Congo coastline is done. That one you can now continue right back on to the south, or do we open that up so that it's just uniform like we're doing here to the north? Probably. Maritime trade advantage, small gain there, but gain is a gain. There's my Embrace institution. I was wondering when that was going to pop back up. Artillery didn't spread much further. And obviously it's not going to do me any good for a while other than speed up what we have. Let me see how close we are to other provinces picking up artillery. 38's not going to do me any good. 67's not too bad, but that's still going to take a good while. Printing press is starting to spread as well, I can see. I'm not seeing anything for artillery that's close to being done. No, it looks like nothing new is going to happen with artillery anytime soon. There's a 99.94. Let's at least wait for Coimbra's a good chunk of our pop. Growing up, another negative event for our disaster and it's a costly one. We can lose 900 ducats, which we have 600, but we were about to embrace an institution with that. Or pops that do not follow Catholicism lose 10% satisfaction. I'm going to take that one. Here's another artillery that's about to be done. Tomar's another town. I got kind of two spots, but I bet you it cost went down by like 60 ducats with Coimbra. Wow, another negative event. I think we're about to cross that threshold or something that puts us at 90. It's the same 20 stability lost. Are you kidding me? 900 ducats or 20 stability. Okay, I think I need to wait for those two now. Institution, the third one, the last one for the age, has appeared in Gablos, confessionalism. Catholicism has been regarded as a unitary entity for a long time, but the advent of the various Protestant faiths has put an end to that, with the rise of a myriad of different interpretations of what the faith should be. Christianity is anything but united, but where before any deviance from the church could be easily labeled as heretic, now the lines creating the differences have become blurrier, at least. As such, there have been an increased interest both for religious and secular authorities alike to clearly define the shapes of their specific confessions, enforcing their particular rules and views on all aspects of faith and life. This allows them to move to more firm grip on the faith of their population, but also increases the differentiation and thus animosity with all the other confessions. Our Gablos is wow, why is it around northern Italy always? Is that Castile? No, that's not Castile. Yes, that army belongs to Castile. Castile has invaded the Papal States. No, it's not the Papal States. Marciano. They've got troops way up here in Bavaria, but they're not invading this land. That is weird. We've got 1,000 ducats. We've got stability back to an 65, but there was two towns I was waiting on. One of them is done. Tomar is the other, 98.83. It's 3 months. I can wait 3 months. A town provides a good amount of population, which will give us a pretty healthy boost. There we go. Tomar has it. Cost has come down another 40 ducats, but more importantly, another 2 or 3 on the stability chart. So I think that's enough. Let's go ahead and embrace artillery institution. We're already more than a quarter, not quite a third of the way through the Age of Reformation, but we've now adopted 2. The third one literally just spawned. So we're in pretty good shape here, but you can see we have no advantage over other Europeans being on that outer edge. It takes a little bit longer for things to get to us. But even after embracing the institution, I have 800 ducats right now, so we do have the ability to make some money. It looks like we have a Okeechobee is about to be done. We have 7 months there, so we are going to need more colonies here soon. But we could definitely afford to spend a little something. Tools Guild and Gunsmith is still the most profitable option. I think we had a good 6 or something in Lisboa, but that earthquake destroyed our Tools Guild building. The Gunsmith, let's diversify that one. Stud Farm can make good money. We only have 1 right now. Protected Harbor increases harbor capacity, lowers naval attrition. Rural Smelter. Okay, that's useful for our specific RGOs that we have. You add 1 in each of these places. They all have enough population to support it. Let's get 1 in each. The Bog Iron Smelter is another one that can make not a ton of money, but definitely think it's time to expand certain areas of the economy, of the market. Okay, Okeechobee is done. Add it into the colony. Yes. And that'll give us the last for the peninsula. You still have the Panhandle, but for Florida. Oh wow, yeah, look around us. There's a lot of roads through Europe. There's one region that's pretty poor with it, but look how bad we are on roads. We've got to do more with this as well. Evora is a town, still not connected. Faro, we need to connect it by road, even though port has been more important for us. But all right, we'll get our last two here to get the handle and be done with Florida completely, and then we'll push into Georgia afterward. Or if Miami's done and we're still not ready for that one, then we'll push in. Either way, I'm only going to go so far with that. I will let that colony kind of handle things for a while. Another negative event. I do think we find ourselves with a nearing the end kind of situation with this one. As there we go. Region discovered. And we're going to push right on to the next one here. Ooh, we've got a new 9570-97 Igarachu, 21-year-old. Yeah, we're ready to steal a map from Novgorod once again. Oh man, Calvinist thoughts in Kingdom of Portugal. We've got a bunch of Calvinist preachers that are going to show up. Here we go again. The Russian coastline. Visually, that was massive. That was a big space. Looks like Denmark has been encroaching a lot on Sweden. Norway barely exists anymore. Finland, for that matter, barely exists. Muscovy is definitely growing. Novgorod is holding them off for the time being, though. And England has been very active in this upper Atlantic coast area. There's been like 3 new markets formed, 4 new markets formed, something like that, in a fairly short period of time. Well, with the embraced institutions, we are definitely climbing those ranks again. We're up to 33rd. One spot off, I think, the highest we've been in this playthrough. I think it might be 32nd. The Calvinists are giving us a little bit of a headache here as they are growing. So our conversions, 93, 98%. They were almost done with these provinces, and that was kind of the moment when I was going, well, we might get to about 90% by time all 3 of these are done. For now, this religious turmoil. Ooh, hello. There's options. What can I do? Push for spiritualist. Push for humanist. Those options have been there all along. Using legitimacy. Support conversion efforts. Okay. Clergy happy, and this is going to be pop conversion speed. Let's do that. We're at 98 legitimacy. Let's help finish this thing off, huh? Arakari is definitely picking up. We're up to 25 ducats, which is just behind Higuai. Well ahead of Windward Islands now. Castile has some other stuff going on that they are working with, though, so they're still working in that area. I'm going to get those last 2 RGOs to try to help with the food situation, but it's just, I think it's a proximity. Well, upgrading our army, there's now 8,100 troops. Much larger than before, and actually we need to rebalance them. However, the other thing is, with all this extra manpower, is a demand on manpower, which I did not notice is way higher than what we have. So we need to address that immediately. So time for some recruitment buildings. The armory, just 10 manpower, but we have new ones. We have training fields. Well, you have to have primary or accepted culture, so Granada or Almanukar cannot. Okay, so that's it for the armories. That's all we could build. The training fields, though, also having requirements not met. So we're going to need a culture conversion. We're going to run out of manpower here pretty dang quick. Research, proximity cost through open sea. Definitely a useful one. That's like going through here. So our proximity cost to this area is decreased by 10%. Get a look at what goods we have shortages on. I have a couple of RGOs that can, or businesses that can be upgraded. It is RGO. Okay. This is the longest our naval commander's been alive. It's the first time I remember having to replace him in quite a while. 51's not very young, is it? But he's got quality that others don't have. I guess we'll put him in charge. Nobility is a little bit ticked off, and they require 300 ducats, unfortunately. See, we are losing ground. The Calvinists. So our 90% end. We're at 85, but take away that almost 2% from Calvinist. That's about an 87 flat. We were 3% away from ending the disaster, and now we're at 85 again. Parliament ready to meet. Noble-sponsored mercenaries. Army tradition. I don't need any mercenary companies, though. Mining operations might be good. Gravel road network. I think now's the time. While it's being debated, it's going to be cheap. And it pushes us towards centralization. I'll take it. A little stability hit. No, that's decentralization. No, thank you. Monastery. Okay, the nobility is not going to be too thrilled, though. That's still only 49%. Legitimacy. And suddenly the nobility is really ticked off. We'll do the gravel roads here in a second, but we do have an exploration about to finish. Very large one. We are too far out from Lisboa to explore down here, so we are going to have to create some sort of link. Well, I guess technically we have one, don't we? 4 colonies, all late stages, 75% or better. Heretic in the university, joy, 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 happy, happy, joy, joy. Make the clergy upset and move towards humanist. Sure. Why not? Alright, folks. We were so close to ending that stupid disaster, but we've embraced 2 institutions. We have drastically increased our colonial size, but there is Castile getting after Cuba now. We've let it go too long. It looks like we're going to continue to let that go. We have a few little kind of land pockets now, some random islands in the Atlantic that we could colonize, such as like Bermuda that we've already done. Not 100% sure what comes next, other than that, hey, we've made some real progress on continually expanding the market. We're making better and better money repeatedly, but the Calvinists are now holding us back a little bit. I'd like this Reformation to come to an end. Really like for it to come to an end. We keep missing out on Aragon. We cannot get a Casus Belli on them as we can on others, and yeah, that's disappointing. Castile seems to have no problem attacking them again and again, but we are easily one of the 2 strongest colonial players right now, us and Castile, though Papal States, I don't know, we haven't seen them over in the New World, but they could be all over. They could have their paws all over the African coastline. We'll see, given time. As we explore further, obviously we're trying to get the coastline first, so you make your way around. But if we are reaching our extent, we're going to have to get some land on the coastline, and maybe drop in a colony and give us the ability to continue, pushing in that direction as we are successfully doing, from here to here. That's a huge range that we are covering right there. We very much have our paws all over North America now as well as South America. So I'm really happy with how we are doing on that front. Clearly, the gravel one was a big thing, and the manpower is a big thing. I don't have an answer on the manpower right now. It's going to run out. It's going to hurt our army. I might have to get rid of a unit or two, cut back on that need, cut back on that demand, or switch off of conversion and change culture, assimilate, especially in Granada, but it's going to take a long time to do. It's going to take a very long time to do that. So I don't know. I don't know what our answer is short term, but overall, we're up to 1571, well over 200 years in now, and at about roughly the halfway point. But we're rolling in money, and I think we're getting closer to being able to affect change through the use of stability on a regular basis. Start changing policies in our favor. I think we are getting closer to that being a thing. Not necessarily with the nobility just yet, but the other, like the commoners, super cheap to make some changes for them that could help us long term and give them a little, like, no power, but keep them happy kind of thing. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.